Hey guys, Automatic Garage back today. Hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving. We literally just got back from Thanksgiving and we bought this for 450 bucks.
What the hell is even that?
I'm not even sure what year it is. Mini Cooper S, so it's the whatever turbo supercharged, whatever it is. Got flooded. It hadn't run since. He goes, man, I don't know. I tried jumping it off. It might just need a battery. I don't know. But 450 bucks. It's not all messed up. It's all here. Figure worst case scenario, if I can't get it running or it's not salvageable, we'll clean it all up. We'll sell it for $1,000 and somebody have a nice parts Mini Cooper or whatever. So let me turn you around here and we'll kind of start discovering what all we have here. So being flooded, you can imagine what the inside smells like. That's the only real goof up in the whole interior other than being messy. Seat bottom, you can see we got some moldiness here. Got the sunroof. I gotta figure out how to get the back hatch open. Gas tank does not smell like bad gas. He just said this happened 3 or 4 months ago, so hadn't been sitting for a long time. Tires are relatively new on it. I did pull the dipstick. It's not full of oil. It's got some oil in it, but I didn't see water on it. Of course, oil floats on top of water. So I guess before I even try to crank on this thing, we're gonna drop whatever oil's in it, see what the story is with that in case it does crank up. Never mess with a flooded car. I can't think of what the do's and don'ts would be on starting this thing back up. It's been sitting for months since it happened, so you would think everything has dried out. I don't know. I don't even know where the PCM, ECM, whatever is on this car. So come along with me. Let's explore figuring out what we're gonna do with this. So I had to figure out how to get the rear hatch open, and the secret is it's right here under the back seat. Y'all know I'm a diesel guy. I don't know this. Also figured something else out with a little bit of detective work. So I would say that the water level did get this high because when I tumped this over, water comes out of it. I'm not even sure. I'm assuming that's the middle console thing. I don't know. I gotta get a light, but now that we've done this, we can get access to the battery. I took the air cleaner off a minute ago just to double check that. There was no water in there. Looked clean. Filter didn't look like it had mud or nothing in it. So I don't feel like anything got in the motor. So I guess our main concern is going to be electrical problems. All right, we got our Duralast Gold battery removed from our nice, nasty, wet battery box. I guess I'm gonna clean all this out. We're gonna start there. I'm gonna see if there's anything underneath it. If there's not, I'm just gonna drill a little hole in it. Let all this drain that way. I don't know what kind of funky stereo business we had going on in this car here. But we got that, and we had these other massive cables laying back here. I mean, hey, we did get a free set of jumper cables with the car. Oh, and some high quality Allen wrenches. So I drilled my little hole. Water's draining. Don't exactly know what this thing is right here, but it was still in about 1 inch or so of water sitting down in there. So we have a positive wire that comes off. This one comes here. That positive wire goes there, and then it comes back out this side, and looks like it comes into the wiring harness here. So I don't know what this thing is. I guess I may take it out, take it apart, and see what we can do to dry it out and clean it out before we do anything. Because I want to give every chance I got of this thing actually working. So I drilled my hole in the battery box in the corner right there, drained all the water, sprayed it with some brake clean. Got a lot of the crap out. That's actually brake cleaner sitting there. I'm gonna let that dry and then vacuum the rest of this out real good. Of course, I don't want to vacuum up brake cleaner and start a fire. Pull this little box off the side, and it's just the main terminal connections for the battery here with the, what does it say, Little Fuse Mega 200 amp, which I sent my oldest boy named Lee to get that. And he's got an oil filter coming. I'm just gonna put 540 synthetic Rotel in it because I think this calls for 0.40 weight, I think is what it said, but we're gonna put 540 in it. I think it'll be fine. So I'm gonna take all these apart because I got that fuse coming to replace it, clean all my connections there. This connection didn't look bad. The undo right there. It didn't look like it had a bunch of mud and crap in it. That's brake cleaner that's on there too. So I'm gonna hope the water level didn't get above where we saw it here, maybe. I need to find out where the PCM, like I said, ECM is in this car and see if that got wet or not. That'll be kind of the deciding factor for me. But I did notice when I took the air filter out to check all that, this connection in here, that doesn't look like it ever had any muddy, nasty, dirty water on it there. The inside of the air inlet, the inside of the air box. So I'm gonna say, I mean, absolutely worst case scenario, maybe that's the highest it got. Now, where's the computer mounted at? All right, so I have to admit, I'm feeling a little bit positive here now. So I vacuumed the mouse nest and everything up here. It's your ECU. You look down in there, it doesn't even look dirty in the box. It doesn't mean it didn't get wet, but I don't feel like it did. Especially when the fuse panel's right here. The top of it is lower than that. I don't see anything that looks remotely like water damage here. So that makes me feel pretty good. It tells me that the water didn't get up, like you say, above here. Now we know we got a body control module and stuff like that. We'll have to see how that goes when we hook the battery up. But as far as the engine management stuff, I feel pretty good about it. So when Lee gets back with that fuse, I'm gonna clean all those connections, put the new fuse on, get it ready to put the battery on. Before we do that, I'm gonna go on and drain the oil just to make sure didn't get some water in or something, because if it does start up, I don't want to mess up a motor that potentially will run because it had water in it. So we're gonna change the oil, battery and all that, and we'll see how it goes. All right, moment of truth. No, I know this is not the correct battery for the car. This is out of my boat. Boat is winterized. I might as well do something with this battery right now. Put the new fuse in there, clean all that up, blew it all out. Everything's dry. See if we get a big arc when we put this on here. I have a feeling we probably are. Ooh, wee. Holy shit. Look at there. Sounds like the radio works too. So I'm actually gonna connect this up. I'm not gonna tighten it all the way down in case we end up having something catch on fire. I have not changed the oil yet. So let me get a good connection on here. I'm just gonna bump the key, see if we have a starter that works and all that before we dump whatever, $40 worth of oil in it and 5 gallons of fresh gas. So let me do that and I'll catch back up with y'all. All right, so go to start it. And yes, I'm in neutral. Key will roll forward one time and then it locks. Let me show you again. So this is the first time. You can roll forward to start, nothing happens. You back off and then it won't let you roll it again. So I don't know if this has something to do with possibly a dead key. I don't know if this is a chip key, I guess. I don't know, I'm not up on BMW and Mini stuff, so. But I don't hear any clicking happening anywhere. Our fuel gauge isn't moving, so I'm assuming it really has no fuel in it. Looking at the guy, he looked like the kind of guy that would roll around and not keep gas in his car. Everything else works though. Windows work, door locks work, sunroof works. So I feel pretty good about that. I'm gonna go out here and check all the fuses under the hood real quick. All those fuses are good. I unplugged all the relays, put them back in. All the terminals look clean on it. I'm gonna try it again one more time. So now I need to find the fuse panel in here. I'm gonna double check all the fuses in that real quick before we go to look at anything else. I don't know. I'm not even sure where the starter's at on this motor. We're gonna figure that out next after I make sure these fuses are good. I guess it could have sat in the water, got wet and ruined the starter. So been off camera here for a while. Checked the clutch safety switch at the bottom. I actually bypassed it to take that out of the loop. There's something on here called an immobilizer. I haven't looked into that yet, but I'm not getting power to the starter. Took my test light, had Casey get in the car for me, and put it on your hot switch coming from your keyed hot that tells the starter to turn. Never got any power to that, so the power's not getting to the starter is the problem. So what I did, you can see the starter right in between the exhaust manifolds there. So what I did was I just jumped it and you can hear it turn over. So we have a working starter. We just gotta figure out why we're not getting power to it. All right, so I watched a real nice British fella on the YouTube, and he was talking about the immobilizer on these. He was very kind enough to show us how to bypass the immobilizer. So what I did was I just made a jumper, and I jumped the 2 wires he talked about bypassing the immobilizer. I first brought my test light out here, and I saw that I did not have power on this, whatever it is, brown and yellow, which is the supply to the solenoid and the starter to tell it to kick in. So undid this plug. I tested that with my test light. I could look around the corner and see that I was not getting power there. Then I said, well, must be something wrong with that immobilizer, because that wire goes in and out of the immobilizer. So bypassed it. Starter now hits. So I just stuck a extra spark plug Lee had in his toolbox over there, pulled one of the coils here, and saw that we do have spark. I'll show you the video because I'm out here by myself. So I had to set my phone here and video the spark to make sure it was sparking. But it was. So now I'm gonna throw some gas in it. I haven't noticed if I've heard a fuel pump running on this thing or not. I don't know how loud or how quiet it is on these. Not even sure where it's at in the tank, on the frame, whatever, or unibody, whatever this thing is. So I guess that's our next point. We got starter now. We got spark. We got to get some fuel to it. And I still got to change the oil. All right, next day back on the dirty, dingy, flooded Mini Cooper. I don't remember if I showed last night, but gas gauge is working now. That's about 3 gallons of gas I put in. I didn't want to fill it all the way up until I knew what our story was with the tank here. But I pulled the cover off because I don't think we're getting fuel. And man, we got acorns, and I would say this probably got wet looking at the water level. So that may be why our fuel pump's not working. So I'm gonna vacuum this up, disconnect it, and see if we're getting any voltage here when we turn the ignition on. Hey Gary.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Tighten the battery up.
Tighten the battery up?
Yeah.
How come?
You gotta have the battery to crank the car.
We're gonna fire this dude up. So I think we got it all going. I went back and watched what dude did bypassing the immobilizer, and you got to have the immobilizer. I can maybe show you. So there's the immobilizer. Let me turn my light on. So there's the immobilizer. There's my jumper wire right there. So it has to be plugged in the immobilizer still, because the spark and everything runs through this. So I think this is gonna fire up now, and we'll see what happens. Hey Gary, what are you doing?
Squeegee on the floor.
Where'd all that water come from?
Out of the exhaust.
All that water was in the exhaust. So you can see it would have made it to the cat very easy. I'm assuming this cat is stopped up. It's got to be what it is from the water being in it. Either that or it's running super duper lean. But usually with a cat glowing, it's stopped up. So we're going to do something to resolve that. I'm not going to mention what it is. So, to my dismay, I have terrible news about the Mini. I went to drive it.
Oh my gosh. Do you hear it? Gave it a little rinse, it looks like. He's got it going.
Pulled it out of the garage. I started hearing a knocking sound. pulled it back into the garage, and it sounded like a rod knock to me. So I remember the oil pressure was low. I changed the sender. It didn't change. This car was flooded, like I said, so my mind immediately went to, hey, we probably have an electrical problem. Whatever else, I don't know. I was just assuming that it might be something else since the pressure sender didn't change. It had oil pressure when you revved it up. So for all of you 6.0 guys out here that like watching the channel, and I'm a 6.0 guy myself, 6.0 is not the only thing that has that stupid drain bag valve. Well, this does also, but the beauty of this is the oil filter is buried down there where you can't really see down into it to even know that there's one in it. So I'm out of my realm working on this. I changed it, I even put a Wix filter in it. No, I didn't get a Mini or BMW, whatever filter, but I put a Wix in it. I felt like that was the thing to do. Put it in, and we changed the oil and did all this, and I had no idea that I had done anything wrong because I didn't know there was even a drain back valve in there. Well, when I took the filter that was in it out, the spring and the drain back valve evidently popped out. Put it back in, so that's why the oil pressure was low. And I took it back apart. I put a 6.0 drain back valve that I had here fit in there to block the hole up, because essentially that's all you got to do is block the hole up. It's just there for draining oil when you pull the filter out. Cranked it up, actually I didn't crank it up. I fixed it where all I could do is turn it over and let it turn and pump oil back up on it itself, since I heard the knock sound. Thinking, well, maybe it was just starving for oil on the top end of the motor, maybe it was lifter knock, whatever. So did that for probably a minute, let this crank, felt like I was pumping oil back on it, saw the oil pressure actually move up there also. And then I actually cranked it up. It had great oil pressure at idle. I went to go drive it again. I was like, damn, I hear the knock again. So I pulled it back in again. Me and Lee were both listening for the knock, trying to figure out where it was coming from. Rivved it up a couple times. You hear the knock every time you rivved it up. Rivved it up one more time, and that was all she wrote. And I heard a cow. And there's no oil on the floor. It didn't throw a rod out of the block or nothing, but she's locked up. So I had a good cheap runner that we all could have shared as a gas saver, or I could have cleaned her up and probably sold her and quadrupled my money off what I paid for it. But now I just have a nice Mini Cooper paperweight, because I seriously doubt I'm going to get into messing with this motor. I'm sure it would have been fun to drive, whatever. So y'all tell me, what should we do with it? Should I just cut my losses, get rid of it, try to get my money back out of it for maybe somebody that's actually into these? I don't know. I'm a truck guy. I'm sure being with the manual transmission and the supercharged and all that, it would have been fun. But anyways, that's how this ended up. We did get it running though. It was running. I did get that far. The brakes seemed to be working and everything. I felt like it was going to be a good driver if I could have actually got to drive it more, but whatever. We're going to cut our losses, I think, but I'll listen to y'all's comments. Y'all tell me what you think we ought to do with it. I don't know how cheap, how expensive, whatever it is to rebuild one of these. So sitting here in disgust and upset about the motor being screwed up on my $450 car that I put all of, I don't know, $75 into after that. There's somebody in the Memphis area that is partying out a Mini S convertible with 120 something thousand miles on it. So we're talking back and forth. It's wrecked. It was wrecked on the side. Said it was running fine. Told him if I could hear it run, if I could pull the motor in my shop, we'll negotiate a deal on that. So I told the girl, I said, let's clean the car up. I said, regardless of whether we do this motor or if I'm gonna put it back on Marketplace, I want to try to at least get my money back out of it, and what better way to do it than having the car cleaned up. So we'll video it, maybe we'll put a motor in it, maybe we won't. So y'all stick on with us here and we'll clean it up. What did y'all ask me to do?
Oh, take the seats out
Why?
so we could try to find the rest of the $100 bill we found. You wanna
They
see?
found a corner of a $100 bill and they were bound and determined to find the rest of it. That looks real.
Where's the part of the $100 bill?
It looks real to me. Something stuck to it. What did we find here? We found a Leonard Skinner Greatest Hits. About to pop that one in and listen to it. Another great one here. Steve Miller Band Greatest Hits. There's a Johnny Cash CD around here somewhere. Oh, it's Johnny Cash. Yeah, that one's done. I ain't listening to that one. Anyways, we're gonna get this messy thing cleaned up. And I guess we'll catch up with y'all with the finished product here. They got a lot of cleaning to do in there. So she cleaned up extremely well. Casey taught me in taking the seats out. She shampooed the carpets. That's the only mess up in the whole car is that seat right there. So we already got to talking. If we kept it, leave the white roof, wrap everything that's green, black, Automatic logo on the door, back glass, Automatic license plate on the front, and instead of white stripes, red stripes on the black. I think would look pretty good on it. I'm not sure about the white wheels, but there's brand new tires on those wheels. So Miss Automatic came home. We kind of talked about it. I said, hey, I may have a source for a good used motor out of a car. She goes, oh, you should buy it. I love this car. We sat in the car. Everything works. Stereo works. Everything works. Heated seats, all that. So I don't know. Y'all tell us what we should do in the comments. And I guess stick on and see what we end up doing with this thing. We'll see. It is a fun little car to drive. What short little bit that we messed around with it. So anyways, it's Automatic Garage signing out. Y'all like, subscribe, comment, check us out at Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. AutomaticGarage.com. We appreciate y'all watching. We'll holler at y'all later.